Hello everyone and welcome to the Vermintide 2 weapons tier list for Zealot. Starting off in D tier today, sad to say it, but it is the single axe. This is probably my least favorite weapon for all of Saltspire himself, but I do think it is the most usable on Zealot because he gets increased power and speed from Castigate, and he's got death resist. He's fairly tanky. So this is really not like a bad weapon on paper. It's got armor piercing and shield breaking ability. It's pretty good for single target damage. The speed was slightly increased in the Big Bounce beta, but its low cleave holds it back. And with Zealot, you kind of have to hit lots of things at once to generate temp health, or unless you just want to kill with like charge attacks the whole time. But it's really not the best weapon for Zealot because he's not generating a crap ton of THP, which allows him to be the Zealot that he truly is and be reckless and just dash straight into a horde and be that kind of reckless DPS guy. This one doesn't really let him do that. He has to play maybe a little bit more cautious. He can get elites fine, but he struggles for hordes. This is in the D tier for me. Not my favorite weapon, sad to say. Up in C tier, we have the Greatsword. Now this is a purely a horde weapon. Its light attacks are the same exact motions as its charge attacks. The only attack that's different on this weapon is the push attack, which is pretty much what you are forced to use for elites because it's kind of easy to do a headshot on those guys. Basically, outside of horde clearing and pretty decent temp health generation, there's no real reason to use this weapon on Zealot outside of like, I want to try something different. There's no wow factor to it. It's just a very kind of weapon. Bumping up to B tier, I have the Falchion, and the reason I was just talking about the Greatsword is because the Falchion, in my opinion, is just a way better Greatsword. I really like the Falchion, especially on Zealot. It's number one, it's faster than the Greatsword. Number two, it does more damage than the Greatsword. And the motions are kind of, they actually switch it up a little bit. You get that down motion, which is great for getting headshots. Its charge attacks are faster and better than the Greatswords. I see no reason to use the Greatsword over the Falchion. And in the beta, this weapon used to have 2 stamina. It now has 3, which I believe is the same as the Greatsword. Guys, this is just a better Greatsword. The Falchion is fun, especially on Zealot. Can kill elites. It's pretty decent for hordes. You get your THP. You can be reckless. The light attacks are really fast, really fun. This is a great weapon. I have it firmly in the B tier. Bumping up to our first A tier weapon, a DLC weapon in the Axe and Falchion. Now, I have this one pretty high because it's good. It's got armor piercing. It's very player friendly. Like if you're someone that doesn't have a whole lot of hours in the game, but you own DLC or whatever, and you want to try something that's really not that hard to use, but also pretty good, this would probably be the weapon for you. Axe and Falchion has very easy motions, which are good for hordes and elites. In the charge attacks. Very capable weapon. A lot of people use this one on Zealot. It's solid. Definitely a solid A tier weapon. Also up in the A tier form, a non-DLC weapon, the Rapier. This is one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. And I actually debated putting this in S tier for him because I think it's that good. But I didn't for the following reasons. Number one, it's nice and fast, which is great. You always want that with Castigate, his talent that gives him 20% more attack speed when he's at low health. Makes this thing even faster. Great for hordes. It's got big headshot damage for elites. With those charge attacks, he can do lots of damage like that. So it can both deal with hordes and elites. Only thing is, if you're not getting headshots on the charge attack with this weapon, you're basically doing like little to no damage. You're doing very little damage with the Rapier if you don't get those headshots. And that's just how the Rapier is, It kind of relies on headshots. It's a very headshot dependent weapon. It can be very powerful in the right hands, but if you kind of struggle with that poke out motion for headshots, maybe steer clear of it. It also has an alt fire mode with a little pistol that never runs out of ammo. So, you know, if you're playing like a no pickups deed or like something on Cat or Legend and you run out of ammo, this is something you can alt fire, you can shoot things, kind of stun them, and so you're able to run up to them and melee them, or maybe you'll just kill them with a headshot if you're lucky. Rapier's a very fun weapon. It's a good weapon. I really like it, but it's not super OP on Zealot, worthy of an S tier, I think. There are two weapons that are worthy of the S tier, though. And the first one, a DLC weapon, the bill hook. The bill hook is absolutely amazing on Zealot. This is a great weapon overall. I mean, it just does so much freaking damage. You don't even have to get like any stacks with Zealot for this thing to do like really good damage. You're not going to be doing like amazing damage like you would if you had your 6 stacks, which you should probably go for if you're going to play Zealot seriously. But if you don't care about stacks, if you don't mind people, you know, running passive healing or whatever, this is a solid weapon because you can still do crap loads of damage. This is an excellent weapon for elites. It's got armor piercing. It's got really big headshot damage, and the headshots are easy to get with this thing. You have a ton of reach. You can just chill back, poke out a couple times. Even if you miss one, you still won't be, you know, getting attacked because there's that much distance between you and an elite. And he's got 2 really nice, it's like a poke out and that's like a stab down kind of attack. Really great for taking out elites in like 2 hits if you can do that on Legend. That's very nice. It's a very fun weapon. It lacks maybe just a tad bit against hordes. You kind of have to lead with the push attack and then mix in some light attacks. So it's not the best weapon for hordes, but it is absolutely amazing for elites. And one of the fun things about this weapon is, much like the Rapier, that alt fire button that I was talking about, where you can shoot the pistol, this one, if you do that, like on a Chaos Warrior or something, it'll actually stagger it. It'll do a little bit of damage, but it'll kind of stagger it. You know, in the beta they recently changed it to do to cost half a stamina shield or 1 stamina shield, I believe, something like that. So you can't just, like you used to be able to just spam it infinitely, which was really fun, but kind of OP. So now it costs like some stamina. You can still do it, and it's still fun. But that's a really nice and useful thing. It also pulls down shields on those storm vermin with the shields and those patrols and things like that. Great weapon. Very fun, zealot-y weapon. Finally, in S tier, my personal favorite on Zealot, the Flail. Now this is just a pure Zealot weapon. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean that this weapon can do it all. In the Big Balance beta, the first 2 light attacks have received a tank mass modifier. That just means it does more cleave, it's better against armor. The heavy attacks got a 30% increase in their damage. This weapon is absolutely brilliant for generating temp health. This lets you play super reckless, super freaking offensive. You can just do crazy damage. You can fly into the middle of a horde and just start whacking things around with your flail. This thing is so much fun. And the best part about it is that it ignores shields. So not even those patrols can stop you. You know, with the melee killing blows giving you temp health talent, and then the bonus healing talent and castigate all working together, you can keep killing things, making temp health, so it doesn't even matter if you like take hits, because, you know, with mainstay, that flail will just absolutely annihilate storm vermin, chaos raiders, berserkers, things of that nature. The flail on Zealot is one of the best weapon combinations in the entire game, guys. This thing is freaking awesome. And I can't stop, you know, talking. I can't say enough good things about it. So that's my list. In S tier, I have the Flail and the Billhook. In A tier, I have the Axe and Falchion and the Rapier. In B tier, I have the Flail. Or not the Falchion. My bad. In C tier, I have the Great Sword. And down in D tier, I have the Axe. I'm sorry, little Axe, but you're just down there all alone. That's my list. Let me know what you guys thought. Whether you agree, disagree, what you would change. I love reading that shit. Tell me. I want to know. Over and out.